Golf is currently at a crossroads, and it's the PGA versus YouTube. And clearly, the older segment is watching the PGA, or at least in my opinion it is. And what do I mean by the older segment? I mean like 40 and up. So mostly guys who are 40 plus are watching primarily golf on the PGA. So what I mean when I say that is they're watching TV golf, like golf on broadcast, NBC, and all those sorts of broadcast systems. Now, they may also be watching golf on YouTube, but I think primarily the PGA's viewership base is made up of guys who are 40 and older. And why is that? Well, the YouTube golf world didn't really exist, right? That did not exist back when they were growing up. So in their formative years, that wasn't a thing. Another thing to consider is that the personalities that they used to have, like the John Daly's, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, these guys that are larger than life, their heyday existed during these guys' formative years, the guys who are 40 and older. The younger guys, they don't have that to look up to. In fact, if I listed off like the top 20 in OWGR right now and asked the younger guys who those guys were, they would not know who Sam Burns is. They might not know who Wyndham Clark is, some of those lesser known guys. They might know who John Rahm is, but he's been on YouTube too. So you have to consider that. So the older segment of the population is watching the PGA on TV. That has its advantages for the PGA. So the PGA has the best golfers in the world, bar none. That cannot be argued. They have the best golfers. The major tours do, right? So LIV, DP Tour, all those major tours on TV, they have the best golfers. PGA primarily has the best talent in the world. And that comes with a ton of TV money, ton of contracts, and exposure to wonderful courses, probably the best courses that you and I are not ever going to play on. And you just can't get that anywhere else. So it's exclusive. PGA has that going for it. And that established fan base that's older has a lot of money. And that's driving all the decisions because the older fan base is established in their careers. They have more buying power and they vote with their dollars. So that's something that the PGA has going for it. But the PGA also has disadvantages too. A bigger organization like the PGA is slower to change. And right now we're seeing that. They are just slower to pick up on things, slower to change. They can't maneuver as quickly because they're a bigger organization. It happens all the time. That's how new organizations come in and beat out the old organizations. I remember when Chick-fil-A was not available in a lot of states. It was a smaller restaurant, but it came in, it innovated, it provided the best chicken sandwich. You know, you've seen better service than anyone else, and now they're huge. They were able to do that because they were able to change. McDonald's couldn't do that. They couldn't shift quick enough. They still shifted or they wouldn't be around. Obviously today, like Walmart shifted to compete with Amazon, right? They offer a lot of things online. If they hadn't, they would have gone out of business by now. That's just a principle of marketing, of business. The bigger organizations are going to have a harder time shifting than the smaller organizations. So that's a disadvantage of the PGA. The production value, because of that, on PGA on YouTube is low. It is not great. They have highlights, they have clips, they have views, whatever, but they really don't have a lot of good production value. And what do I mean when I say that? Well, very basically, they don't even shoot in 4K. They have tons of money, tons of teams, and they're not even shooting in 4K. I find that ridiculous. I'm making this podcast right now, a solo creator with 1,000 subs, barely 1,000 subs, and I'm shooting in 4K on an iPhone 11, not even the latest model. And you're telling me the PGA can't shoot in 4K? That's a disadvantage. That is a disadvantage. And the other disadvantage that the PGA has that they may not want to admit, it's kind of morbid, is that their fan base is dying. Not right now, obviously, 40, 50, 60. I'm 40, 50. Hopefully that's not that old. I'm almost 40 myself. But they're getting older. The people that are diehard Tiger fans, Phil fans, those guys that they grew up watching, those guys are exiting the sport. And you don't really have a lot of good replacements. You have excellent talent, but you need to find a way to show them a little better, in my opinion. So that's a disadvantage of the PGA. You have a dying fan base or golfers that are getting older that population used to watch. So it'd be non-competitive. I mean, Tiger Woods, the last time he won multiple competitions was probably in like 2013. I think he won like 5 during that year. And then ever since then, it's kind of been sporadic. I think the last time he even won was in 2020. So he hasn't been competitive in a long time. So you're going to have to find something to move on to in some way to do that. Now, on to the YouTube golf advantages of that YouTube populace. They have a young fan base. They're growing. They're continually gaining steam. And the products, the videos, just keep coming. They just keep picking up momentum over and over and over again. They have production value out the wazoo. Good is a great example of this. They produce videos with drone tracers in them. They produce in 4K all the time. They hosted their own tournament. An independent golf company hosted their own golf tournament with like $100,000 worth of prizes. That's pretty nuts when you think about it. They have podcasts, they have interviews, they have behind the scenes, they have daily vlogs, they have teaching. This one tiny company, or it started out tiny anyway, is able to do all that. And the PGA, because of its reluctance to change, still doesn't do like long form interviews with professional golfers, or very rarely do they do that. They do the little tournament, clips and sound bites and things like that right after, but they don't even do a very good job at that. One thing that Liv did really well and still does, I think, somewhat, is they get a reporter in there, a professional reporter, broadcast person, to follow around and ask the golfers, questions on the range, that sort of thing. They might even borrow that from some of the brands that have done that. But the important thing is you have to beg, borrow, and steal, or something like that, right? You're always looking at the competition, what they're doing, and you should be adjusting. But the PGA kind of refuses to do that. And that might be due to their CEO. He's not a real popular guy. He kind of comes off as egotistical. He's just going to do whatever he's done forever because it's always worked. Well, I got news for you. It doesn't always work. Eventually, it's going to stop working and you have to shift. And that's another thing that YouTube has an advantage of. They're able to shift quicker. And right now, they have significant attention. And the reason I know that is if I open up an incognito YouTube window and type in golf, so I just type in golf, the first video that comes up, besides the one that's sponsored, the next video up is the Good TPC Sawgrass Shootout. Now, that came out 11 hours ago. It already has 213,000 views on it. What's the next video up? This is how you can tell that YouTube golf is booming, guys. Right here. The next video that's up is the turn at Butterfield Bermuda Championship. But who is the turn featuring? It's featuring the Bryan Bros. And the Bryan Bros are mainstays on YouTube golf. So the PGA is kind of realizing this, and that's on PGA Tours. Then you have the Golf Channel, which is the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. What a mouthful. But next you have Foreplay Sports, you have Jomos Pro, you have SAS Golf, you have Grant Horvat, you have Micah Morris, Luke Kwan, another Grant Horvat. I mean, all these guys are YouTube golfers, GM Golf. And that's just in an incognito window, just a small sample of what I typed in. So that is a sign that YouTube Golf has the attention. And from attention comes money, and from money comes brands. And we can see this. The brands are picking up on it. Callaway Golf just posted on their main YouTube channel. They posted interviews with their top golfers, Rozang, John Rahm, those kind of top-level golfers that are on the PGA Tour. But they're getting in there. They're doing the interviews that people want to see because they've seen them on YouTube done by other channels, by other YouTube channels, by other independent creators. And they posted a short recently, so their most recent short is of guess who? Bryan Bros. And you know what the caption is on that? It's something like, Go George, Year of the Beast. Year of the Beast. Year of the Beast is a saying that George Bryan has on his YouTube channel. It's so specific. It's just so niche. Only a very small subset of the YouTube golf population even is going to know what that is. That is crazy that he has been able to drive that to appear on a major brand's YouTube page and for them to get that joke and put it on there. That's smart by Callaway, by the way. That is smart. Make no mistake about it. Callaway is smart. They've got Good, BDS, and George Bryan, I think. Maybe a few others. I don't even know. You have TaylorMade. TaylorMade's hopping in the game, right? With Micah Morris, Grant Horvat, and Gabby Golf Girl. They got all three of those creators under brand deals. And then you have Titleist Irons. They have NLU, No Lane Up. It's crazy, guys. YouTube Golf is really driving the money here. Otherwise, these brands would not be hopping on it. Now, there are some disadvantages to YouTube Golf, too. YouTube Golf, the people who primarily watch it, don't have a ton of buying power yet. Some of them do. Some of them are in my age bracket, maybe a little older even. But primarily, I think of like high schoolers, young college kids who are watching YouTube Golf, who are just getting into the sport or maybe have been playing a little less. They have mommy and daddy's money. They don't have their own money yet. And that's kind of key. So as they become older, the market is going to shift around them because they're going to have more buying power. At least that's my opinion. Another disadvantage is if something goes wrong, an independent creator does something, it's going to look really bad and reflect really poorly on golf. Because I guarantee you, if a YouTube golfer gets kicked off a plane for throwing a temper tantrum or has an altercation at Starbucks, something like that, it's going to get printed. YouTube golfer goes berserk, something like that, of that nature. And that's part of the reason brands are reluctant to get into deals with these independent creators, because they're an established brand. They don't want to sully their name if some dude's going to act a fool, and screw up that relationship, screw up the brand's reputation. But the fact that brands are willing to take the risks shows that times are changing, and we are at a crossroads in golf. We just don't know how long that crossroads is going to take to diverge, or what path it's going to take, or what it's even going to look like when it gets there. But it is coming, and it is coming quickly. So make sure to let me know if you agree with this in the comment section down below. Hit the like button on your way out to guarantee a birdie on your next round. And as always, thanks for watching.